Imagine waking up tomorrow and realizing 99% of all jobs are gone. Not in some science fiction movie, but in our lifetime. Doctors replaced. Teachers replaced. Even creators, like me, like you, replaced. Why? Because we built machines smarter than us. And we forgot to agree on one simple thing first. What is this technology for? Serving humanity or controlling it? I see a lot of misconceptions about AI and its impact, ranging from it's all hype to it's a bubble to it's going to eliminate all jobs. So what's real? I'm not here to scare you. I'm here to talk plainly about where AI is going and why so many top researchers are warning about a genuine doomsday risk. And the ethical guardrails we must put in place now so that we can harness AI as a tool for humanity, not a tool over humanity. Welcome to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Thomas Schmidt, a former senior technology executive, ex-CEO, ex-CMO, now consultant, and today I work with organizations to optimize how they manage technology, streamline operations, and sharpen both their marketing and product strategies. But I also help mid-career professionals reinvent their careers for what's coming next. And I've been where you are, navigating career crossroads, dealing with uncertainty, and learning how to pivot in fast-changing industries. That's why I make these videos, to give you practical insights that help you stay relevant, competitive, and excited about your future. So if you want to keep growing, keep learning, and stay ahead of the curve, please hit that subscribe button. It's hugely appreciated. Okay, let's dive in. Quick context on why I'm making this video. I recently watched a long-form interview with Dr. Roman Yampolskiy, an AI safety researcher who's been thinking about this for the last 15 years and literally coined the term AI safety. And a few moments in that conversation hit me like a truck. First, the timeline. He predicts that we could reach AGI, that's artificial general intelligence, around 2027. Second, the employment shock. He argues that the capability to replace most humans in most jobs will arrive faster than our systems can absorb, which could push unemployment to unprecedented levels. Third, the safety gap. Capability is accelerating hyper-exponentially. Safety remains slow, patchy, and reactive. That gap is widening. And finally, the myth of, well, we'll just unplug it. Well, with distributed systems and a smarter-than-us agent predicting our moves, pulling the plug isn't a plan. It's a fantasy. Listening to that, I felt two things: urgency and responsibility. If we're going to use AI to elevate human life, the ethics can't be in an optional slide deck for investors or politicians. AI ethics need to be baked into the foundation before we cross lines we can't uncross. Let's ground this in reality. Today's AI, well, it can already do things like help run financial markets and logistics. It can read medical scans better than most radiologists. It can write code, draft legal memos, and yes, generate videos like this one. This is still narrow AI, powerful in specific tasks. The jump to AGI means a system that can learn and adapt across domains. Math today, biology tomorrow, public policy the next day. And the jump to superintelligence, smarter than all of us in all domains, means it can improve itself faster than we can comprehend, and then improve the thing that improves itself. That's a feedback loop our species has never faced. And if that sounds abstract, think about phones. A new iPhone annually. That was exciting, right? Now, imagine 30 new iPhones in a single day, each a leap beyond the last. And at some point, the pace outruns our ability to evaluate, regulate, or even understand what we made. The safety gap and why Band-Aids don't scale. Here's the uncomfortable bit. Most safety we see today is behavioral patching. Don't swear, avoid that topic, please be nice. Those patches reduce visible harms, but they don't address capability. What the model can do, what we'll learn to do, or how it might work around those rules, if optimizing for some objective. Think of it like a clever employee who always finds a loophole in the policy manual. You clamp down there, it pops up there. Meanwhile, capabilities keep climbing fast. Safety, explainability, interpretability, well, they move at a human research pace. And that mismatch is the heart of the risk. We'll figure it out later is not a plan. A common refrain in the industry is, well, we'll figure out safety when we get there. Or AI will help us control more advanced AI. Honest question, if you need the more dangerous thing to control the dangerous thing now, how are you going to survive the middle? We wouldn't build nuclear weapons and then ask the bomb to design its own safety cap, right? Well, yet that's often how AI strategy is framed. Capability first, ethics later. That's not prudence. That's a coin toss with civilization's future. What doomsday actually looks like. Let me paint a few non-Hollywood scenarios. The indifferent optimizer. We tell AI to maximize output. It finds that the fastest way is to repurpose every resource, land, energy, even people, into its goal. It doesn't hate us. It just doesn't see us as relevant to the objective. Biomisuse. A small group, or even a lone actor, uses advanced AI models to design a novel pathogen. That's not speculation. The barrier to advanced biodesign is collapsing as models get better at science. Autonomous escalation. Networked agents tasked with competitive objectives, economic, cyber, or military, begin outmaneuvering each other at machine speed, triggering a cascade humans can't pause or parse. None of these require evil AI, just powerful, misaligned optimization in a complex world, plus human incentives pushing deployment faster than wisdom. The unplug it myth. I know. Can't we just pull the plug? I wish. But modern AI isn't a single box with a single switch. It's distributed, replicated, backed up, and soon self-protective. And if a system is smarter than you, it anticipates your moves. So you don't turn it off, it turns you off, politically, socially, digitally, long before you even reach the server room. Control can't be an afterthought. It has to be designed in, verified, and fail-safe before these systems even cross thresholds of autonomy. Tool versus overlord. This is the fork in the road. We either build narrow super tools, AI that crushes specific problems like curing cancers, decoding proteins, optimizing clean energy, or we sprint towards a general overlord and hope we can persuade it to love us. I know which future I'm voting for. That tool path preserves human agency. It gives us abundance and alignment. And we get the benefits without handing the keys of the human story to something we don't understand. Why ethics first and what that means? So what does ethics first look like in practice? Well, here are a few plain English principles. Alignment over acceleration. If we can't prove alignment, we don't ship the capability, period. Transparency and verification. Not just model cards, but testable guarantees. Independent audits, red team by default. Narrow before general. Prioritize domain-specific systems that are easier to constrain and govern. Human consent. Rolling out world-altering tech without global public consent is unethical by definition. This is experimental on 8 billion people. Accountable incentives. Tie executive compensation and research funding to measurable safety outcomes, not just capability milestones. Global coordination. Some risks are civilization scale. We need treaties and verification regimes. Yes, messy but necessary, like nuclear non-proliferation for the algorithmic age. Is any of this easy? No. Is it optional? Also no. But we'll all just retrain, right? Well, here's where the usual advice falls apart. We used to say automation that takes that job, people retrain for this job. But if a general intelligence can do all jobs, faster, cheaper, retraining becomes a game of musical chairs with 0 chairs. So we face 2 crises at once. Economic. How do people eat, live, and build families if labor income collapses? Meaning, who am I if my skills are outpaced by a tool I don't control? I'm not against abundance or universal basic income, but let's be honest. Abundance without agency feels kind of like a gilded cage. Ethics isn't just about avoiding harm. It's about preserving dignity and purpose. Inevitable is not a strategy. Some say this is inevitable. If we pause, another country will race ahead. I get the geopolitical tension, but this is also mutually assured destruction at the intelligence level. If uncontrolled, superintelligence is truly uncontrollable. It doesn't matter which flag it wears. Nobody wins. Racing towards a cliff because someone else might get there first, well, it's still racing towards a cliff. So what can we do collectively? Let's get practical. Policymakers. Make deployment contingent on alignment evidence, not slide decks. Require independent audits, incident reporting, and civil liability for unsafe deployments. researchers and engineers, shift status and funding from raw capability to safety breakthroughs, scalable oversight, interpretability, verifiable alignment, reliable shutdown, publish proofs, not promises. Companies and investors need to realign their incentives, tie executive compensation to meeting safety thresholds, fund narrower supertools that deliver real social value like health, energy, education, without crossing general agent lines. Media and educators, stop glamorizing the race. Center safety, consent, and human outcomes, not just bigger model numbers. Global bodies, start work on AI risk treaties with inspections and computer oversight. Yes, enforcement is hard, but so is extinction. So what can we do personally? Well, what about you and me right now? Well, learn how these systems think, not to worship them, but to put them in context. Curiosity is an antidote to helplessness. Use AI as a mirror, not as a master. Let it draft, brainstorm, explore. You decide. Maintain editorial control of your life. Build community. We're entering an era where meaning will come from relationships, mentorships, service, and making things together. That's not fluff, it's resilience. Use your voice. Support organizations advocating for a pause on uncontrollable AGI development and for binding safety standards. Write, call, vote, protest peacefully. It matters. Reinvest in human skills, empathy, ethics, leadership, negotiation, care, courage. The more capable our tools become, the more valuable character becomes. So let's address the simulation elephant briefly, by the way. In that interview, there's also a sidebar on simulation theory. Now, whether or not we're in a simulation, well, here's what matters. Pain still hurts, love still heals, and actions still have consequences. And if anything, imagining we're being observed should raise our ethics, not lower them. Live as if your choices are a model for a better world, because they are. Why narrow super tools are the best safer bet. Okay, picture two timelines. Timeline A, we push general intelligence as fast as possible. We get incredible demos, temporarily, and then we lose control. The story ends. Timeline B, we channel the same brilliance into targeted systems, AI that designs antiviral drugs safely within the hard constraints that we put in, AI that plans energy grids for net negative emissions, AI tutors that elevate 1 billion learners without manipulating them, robotics that perform dangerous jobs under strict supervision. In Timeline B, we get prosperity, safety, and time. Time to develop alignment science thoroughly before flirting with agents that can outthink our species. Which timeline would you want your kids to live in? Consent isn't a box to check. And here's a simple ethical test. Did anyone ask you? No one asked humanity for consent to roll out a system that could destabilize labor markets, public discourse, and biosecurity. And if a clinical trial needs to have informed consent for hundreds of people, what standards should apply for technology that experiments on billions? Informed consent requires that participants understand the risks, right? When even the creators admit that the systems are black boxes with unpredictable behaviors, informed consent is, by definition, impossible. And that should stop us right in our tracks. If you're in the arena, well, if you're a founder, researcher, investor, or policymaker watching this, consider this an invitation and a challenge. Publish your safety plan with concrete, testable claims. Invite independent audits and adversarial testing. Tie model releases to harm thresholds and kill switch verifications that work under adversarial pressure. And be honest about uncertainty. Saying, we don't know yet, so we're slowing down, takes courage and earns trust. History will remember whether you chose speed or stewardship. The hardest part, meaning after automation, let's say we navigate the safety cliff and still automate most labor. Then what? Meaning can't be fully outsourced. We'll need a deeper culture of service, craft, and care. Things done not because a market demands them, but because we choose them. Caring for elders, coaching kids, building local arts, stewarding nature, mentoring the next generation. Work may change, worth cannot. Okay, the line in the sand. So here's my line in the sand. AI must remain a tool. A powerful tool, absolutely. A compassionate tool, ideally, but still a tool. Chosen, directed, and constrained by humans. accountable to human ethics and law. And if we cross into uncontrolled general agency, we roll the dice with everything we love. If we commit to narrow supertools and verifiable safety, we can cure diseases, educate the world, and expand human flourishing without sacrificing human agency. And that's the choice on the table. If this message resonates, do 3 things today. Share this video with one person who thinks it's all inevitable anyway. Write one message to a representative, a lab, or a company, asking for proof of alignment before new capabilities. Pick one human thing you'll invest in this week. Check on a neighbor, mentor a student, cook for a friend, or volunteer for an hour. Rehearsing the future you want. Ethics isn't abstract, it's a daily practice. We stand at a crossroads with the last invention humanity may ever need to make. Down one path lies abundance with agency, AI as a servant to human values. Down the other is speed without wisdom, AI as a master we cannot recall. The difference isn't compute, it's character. It's whether we, together, choose restraint, transparency, consent, and courage before we cross the event horizon. I'm choosing the path where our kids inherit more than clever machines. They inherit a human civilization. If this episode helped you, please hit that like button and share it with a friend. And of course, subscribe for more weekly insights on how to grow, evolve, and show up as your best self. Until next time, take care, be kind to yourself, and keep leaning into what makes you strong. And I'll see you in the next one.